What if the Black Door biggest twist wasn't in the script, but hidden in a single frame? Today, we're exposing the secret even the director tried to bury. The story begins with a space agency named Genesis, which sends 6 astronauts on a mission to Mars to establish a colony for future human habitation. As the astronauts begin their journey, about 2 months into the mission, their team leader, Sarah, discovers that she is pregnant. She informs her senior, Nathan Shepard, back on Earth, which leaves everyone shocked. However, the mission continues as planned. Eventually, the team lands on Mars, but by that time, Sarah is due to give birth. She delivers a baby boy, but due to the planet's low gravity, her health rapidly declines, and she sadly passes away. Afterward, Shepard examines the baby's medical condition and explains to the other officials that due to the difference in Mars gravity compared to Earth, the baby's bones and heart have developed abnormally. If the child were brought to Earth, he wouldn't survive, so he must remain on Mars. Shepard also instructs that the child's existence should remain a secret. Time passes, and the child, named Gardner, grows up. At 16 years old, Gardner has only seen 14 people in his entire life. Despite this, he is highly intelligent. He knows very little about his mother and absolutely nothing about his father. Living in a Mars research facility, he finds a locker with his mother's name. When he hacks it open, he finds a USB drive and a ring. On the USB, there's a video of his mother with a man, and Gardner assumes this man is his father. He takes a screenshot from the video and keeps the photo. Gardner chats online with a girl from Earth named Tulsa. She tells him she wants to live freely and explore the world. Gardner replies that he wishes he could say the same. When she asks what's stopping him, he tells her that he has osteogenesis imperfecta, a condition causing fragile bones, and that he lives in a penthouse on Park Avenue. Tulsa doesn't believe him. Later, Gardner is seen recklessly driving a rover on Mars and nearly dies when his oxygen pipe disconnects. He's saved just in time by Kendra, who cares for him like a son. She scolds him and says she loves him and doesn't want to lose him. When she notices a photo on his desk, she realizes Gardner is curious about his past and calls Shepard to request permission to take Gardner to Earth. Shepard refuses, saying Gardner would need surgery and extensive preparation to survive Earth's gravity. Kendra eventually convinces Shepard, and Gardner undergoes surgery and physical training for 2 months. One night, Gardner video calls Tulsa and tells her he'll be visiting soon. He travels to Earth with Kendra, and upon arrival, he undergoes tests but fails. His body is not suited for Earth's gravity. Plans are made to send him back to Mars. When Gardner finds out, he runs away and steps outside for the first time without an oxygen mask. He enjoys the open sky and rain for the first time in his life. Meanwhile, Kendra, realizing Gardner had been talking to a girl named Tulsa, teams up with Shepard to find him. Gardner goes to Tulsa's school and calls out her name. At first, she doesn't recognize him, but when he introduces himself, she slaps him and asks where he's been for the past 7 months. They reconcile, and Gardner joins her in class. When the teacher asks who invented the light bulb and telephone, Tulsa says Edison. Gardner corrects her, saying Edison created direct current, while Nikola Tesla developed alternating current. The class applauds, and Gardner feels happy that after class, Tulsa asks where he's from. Gardner says, Mars, and she laughs, thinking he's joking. He explains that his mother died giving birth, and he's here to find his father. He shows her the photo, and she agrees to help him. They visit Tulsa's house to get some money, but are interrupted by Kendra and Shepard. Kendra begs him to return, fearing for his health, but Gardner insists on finding his father and runs away. Shepard follows in a car, but Tulsa arrives in a helicopter and rescues Gardner. Since she can't fly it properly and it runs out of fuel, they jump out before it crashes into a warehouse and explodes. Kendra and Shepard, terrified, believe Gardner is dead, but find out he survived and escaped again. Gardner and Tulsa rent a car and continue their journey. Gardner is frightened when he sees a horse, having never seen one before. Tulsa still doubts his story, but when Gardner shows him her mother's ring, they visit a man who designed it. He gives them a bill with an address that they set out to the address, but Gardner's health worsens and he collapses, bleeding from the nose. Tulsa rushes him to a hospital, where doctors discover his heart is larger than normal and his bones are unlike those of any human they've seen. Tulsa finally realizes he was telling the truth, that after recovering, Gardner and Tulsa leave quietly and reach the address. There, Gardner finds the man from the video and shows him the photo, believing him to be his father. Gardner explains that his mother was Sarah and she died giving birth to him. The man says Sarah died in an accident, but Gardner insists he's his son. The man, confused and angry, starts to call the police. Tulsa stops him and pleads for understanding. The man reveals that Sarah was his sister, not his lover. Shocked, Tulsa turns around and finds Gardner missing. She rushes to the beach and finds Gardner, who says he can feel his mother's presence there. This is where the video of her was filmed. He says he wants to die there and walks into the ocean. But Kendra and Shepard arrive in time and save him. Seeing Gardner's condition, Shepard becomes emotional. When Gardner asks what his mother was like, Shepard tells him she was fearless and kind. Gardner then asks, "You're my dad, aren't you?" And Shepard nods. An ambulance takes Gardner to the airport, where a special plane awaits. The plan is to fly him high into the atmosphere to reduce gravity's effects. As the plane ascends, Gardner's condition improves, especially when gravity lessens, and he starts floating like in space that eventually Gardner is sent back to Mars. Though Tulsa is heartbroken, she lets him go. Gardner safely returns, and he and Tulsa continue their communication, bringing the movie to an emotional close. So, genius twist or total nonsense? Find it out below. Down arrow, and if you spotted a detail we missed, drop in the comments. Prove us wrong. Thanks for watching.